the last day of my first course launch, and even though it pains me, haven't had one sale yet. However, I know this is a major win, and I did learn lots of really important things. And since I'm doing this whole experiment to kind of document and motivate myself to keep on track for hitting 6 figures with the course business started from scratch, I did learn some very important things. So if this is you, if this specific thing like launching and getting no sales is something that keeps you stuck from doing it, just like I did for a long time, here's what helps me. No, I'm joking. But there are important things, and this is marketing. So until you actually do the thing and you get the data and you see the response, you can only operate on assumptions. And now that I have some data, I can actually draw some data-driven conclusions and then take it from there. I mean, it's painful and it feels weird because I'm someone who's very accustomed with delivering results. And even though there isn't like a monetary equivalent of my work in these past 3 weeks, and I'm having a hard time finding the silver lining, I know that this is just like my mind kind of trying to protect me. Because if I would have done this for a client, then I would have had a completely different approach, and I would have been like, this is awesome. Now we know we have some really good data. The next time we run this, it's going to be so much better. So with that in mind, here's what I've learned from launching my first course to an email list of 200 people, an Instagram channel of 200 followers, and a LinkedIn following of 1,000 people plus. Okay, number 1, people are opening and reading my emails. Now, I knew that was happening, but it was very interesting to see just how many of my ideal audience is actually doing that. And I know that this only means that they just need enough touch points before they actually convert. And that is fine. I just need to understand this, right? Because I would have the same resistance to doing something like this, right? To buying a course from someone that, even though I know they have the experience and they have the results, they're still doing like it's their first course, right? Will this course version work? Will the course format actually help, people just like me get results? So I can totally understand this, and that's fine. Now, the good part again is that my audience is actually engaged. They're opening the emails even though they're not converting. That is fine. So the action that I'm taking from this is that over the next few weeks, I'll be sending more emails, because usually I send 1 email per week, which is a very short newsletter, which is like, hey, I have a new video, or there's this podcast out. So what I need to do is to actually increase the frequency, create more sales opportunities, because that makes the audience familiar with the fact that I do have digital products and, I sell them. Okay. Number 2 has to do about timing. And I knew this coming into this launch. I knew it, but that's the whole thing with this product. So my first course is called Black Friday Playbook for Course Creators, and it's basically a 6-week roadmap that takes a course creator through the exact stages I would take them if we would be working together. Because a Black Friday promotion is not just some random emails. It's a lot more. It has to do with re-engaging your email list, figuring out if your email list has issues, crafting a really good offer, researching your competition, looking at your data. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes, which is like, hey, we have a Black Friday promo. Let's just go with it. There's so much more going behind the scenes. And the majority of people, they just wait until the end like the last mile, which in like the best case would be November 1st. Majority of people are doing this the week before Black Friday, which means that there's so much stuff to do that there is no way you can do it, especially if you're on your own, especially if you don't have a lot of marketing knowledge. So I knew that the timing is gonna be weird for a lot of people, because this is the biggest problem this audience has with what I'm trying to teach them, is that they don't plan things ahead of time. Now, interestingly enough, and I think this leads into my third finding, is that big companies and top course creators like, Amy Porterfield, they're like in September, they kind of already know what they're doing for Black Friday. They have a plan. They know, like the team knows what to do. They know what's the bottleneck. They already have a strategy that's going to be implemented. But for people who are just beginning, and I know they're making less than 6 figures a year, they're not gonna be in that place. So I know that what I'm asking to start thinking about Black Friday in September is a big ask. And I am going to have like a shorter version of this course that's gonna launch in, the second part of October. But realistically talking, there's no way you can do all of that in a short period of time, especially if you're a solopreneur. So doing it week by week is awesome, which means that this leads me to number 4. The next time I'm gonna be promoting this course, I'm going to have some nightmarish stories to lead in, because when you don't take enough time to do Black Friday properly, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And with Black Friday being so competitive, and it's not just course creators, right? Everybody's selling something for Black Friday. You can't just expect it to do well. You have to spend some time working on it. And I'm gonna try to educate people earlier on next time, which is gonna be me like talking about Black Friday in August. People are gonna think I'm crazy, but that's fine. Number 5, and this is something that I tell my clients, but God, it was so difficult and awkward to do it for myself. I mean, it's always harder to do it for yourself. And this is like basically just asking for the sale, right? Because my emails this time, they were very soft. And I honestly only got into the flow of it with the last 4 emails. It felt so awkward to ask for the sale. Insanely hard. So next time I'm gonna ask for the sale, be more direct from the beginning. And I think this also has to do a lot with the fact that as a sales copywriter, I specialize in doing regular promotions, which are basically relaunching products. So I'm not a launch copywriter. And that means, so you have something new, let's launch that. Because usually a launch like that implies a lot more direct messaging, asking for the sale in a very direct approach. And I haven't been doing that this time, but it's fine. I'll be doing it next year. And finally, my last lesson, which is more like a reminder for myself. I'm someone who expects a lot from myself. And this is actually the reason that I procrastinated for so long before I actually launched this course. And I've been thinking about it since February. I had such resistance to drafting it, outlining it, recording it. And it wasn't until August, like late August, when I actually started doing it. And that's because I was very pissed, because I started to get invitations to webinars where people were teaching, here's what to do with your Black Friday. And I was like, wait, what the hell am I doing? I'm gonna miss this window of opportunity. I mean, I have to launch this now, and I have to record it and do it now, because otherwise it means I'm gonna have to wait 1 more year. And what the hell am I doing? I mean, I want a business that earns a lot more from passive income than from me investing my time into writing for other people. So start now. And because of this idea in my head that it had to be perfect, it took so much longer than it had to. And the moment I decided I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it imperfect, and I'm gonna launch a beta, and then I'm gonna optimize it going forward, it literally took me 3 days to figure out what I'm gonna do in each module, outline it, draft the scripts for the lessons, create the resources, record the videos, upload the videos, create the learning area, and then that was it in just 3 days. So I waited 4 months, 6 months actually. I waited 6 months with that idea in my head until it got to the point where it felt like if I'm gonna wait any longer, I'm gonna miss out. And I can't just... I just keep wondering what would have happened if I would have recorded this early on without me continually pushing for let's make it perfect from the get-go. So with that being said, these are the biggest lessons I drew out from my first launch, which kind of failed but did not fail. And I guess you have to start somewhere, right? So here you have it. This is part of my series of documenting how I got from zero to hero, from $0 in course sales to what I hope it's going to be 6 figures in the next 5 years. It's honestly been a wake-up call, and funny enough, I thought that having a launch with no results is gonna just make me want to quit, but it's doing the opposite. And I'm so happy that I have this mindset rather than saying, oh well, see, I knew we were gonna fail, I knew this was not gonna work, let's just not do this anymore. And it's the opposite, and I'm so excited about this because this is the mindset I want to have. And I know this is the mindset that keeps you on the path, right? Because expecting results, like big results, overnight with like a small size list, small size audience is honestly insane. But here we are, and well, I'll keep doing this. And if you have questions, if you have advice, if you wanna tell your story about your $0 launch or your first launch, maybe yours went much better than mine, drop it in the comments, send me a message, and let's talk about it. I mean, the whole reason I'm doing this is, even though it's very painful to share about failure, I know that this is going to help other people who are in a similar situation, struggling with the same false expectations, maybe mindset issues and all of that. And I think it's important that that's how we learn and that's how we get better, by sharing what we did, how maybe it did not go as good or as great as we thought it would be, but then we kept pushing and we kept pushing, and 5 years from now I'm gonna be sitting in a very different place and telling you about my 6-figure launch.